So I'd like to add a little bit more to my talk about failure. So yesterday I was talking a bit about failure. The other day on YouTube I was talking a bit about failure and how I believe that failure, things like not going your way means that you need to adjust your sales and you need to maybe leave a relationship and maybe do something completely different, right? So I do feel that way still about failure as it pertains to things that aren't your dream. For example, I've always wanted to be a writer. I had a creative writing teacher who told me that this was my skill. I wrote poems as a kid. Writing is something I always knew. Well, not always, but probably from preteen years on, even though I did it before that. I wanted to originally be a firefighter. I wanted to be a firewoman, and then I wanted to be a teacher, and then from after that point forward I wanted to be a writer, and I knew I would be a writer. Of course, it looks very differently today as a blogger, as a ghostwriter, as a freelance writer, and as a published author, right? I'm a self-published author, but I knew I was going to be a writer. So when things kind of went, I don't always get the right traffic, or people don't buy as many books as I'd hoped, I never get discouraged with that resistance, because I know that resistance is actually meant for growth. Okay, so if I publish a book and not many people buy it, it means I didn't market it enough. It is not enough for word of mouth sales, or something else is going on, right? So I can use that failure as a learning lesson to write a better book, to show up better, to maybe promote my book more, talk about it more, etc. Because I know I don't talk about like my stuff that I sell as much as I should. So I think that I look at resistance differently depending upon if it's related to something that I was actually dreaming that I was meant to be. Like I know I'm a whole being I was meant to be part of, versus maybe a relationship. So I never really had dreams of being married and having all these kids or anything. That wasn't something that was innately part of me. Although once I did become a mom, once I did have that inkling around age, 20, she was born when I was right before I was 21. So I probably had the inkling between 19 and 20 to want to start being a mom. And I'm really glad, because I do absolutely love motherhood. It is probably the most challenging. It is the most challenging job I've ever had. But so being a parent, I think that's why I place my trials and tribulations and failures and resistance with parenthood. I will keep pushing through that, because I know that I'm meant to be a mom and I'm meant to be a writer. But as far as being a partner in a relationship or being married or that sort of thing, I guess I don't really feel as much of an inclination to be a part of that. And maybe that's why when talking about resistance as it pertains to relationships, I tend to lean on my original belief system, which is, if there's a ton of resistance and consistent resistance and the other person is not as open to speaking and having back and forth communication of their own thoughts, then maybe that relationship isn't right for you. So I definitely think that the conversation and topic of resistance and failure will vary, for me at least, depending upon the topic at hand and what I've been compelled and drawn towards knowing that I'm meant to have in my life. I'm meant to be a mom. I'm meant to be a writer. I know those things. I even wanted to adopt children at one point, and I forgot about it until recently, and was like, you know what? It'd be really cool if I could adopt older children in the future so that they have someone to call family. I may not be a mom to them because they'd be older, but I could at least be a good friend and give them a family environment to feel like they're a part of something. So these are a lot of my core things that I want to get back to. But when it comes to relationships, I just don't have the same pull. I don't know why. I love relationships. I love being around people. So I think that that's why I don't talk a lot about relationships, because it's not something I'm really passionate about. As far as like your intimate relationships, like a husband and wife, or if you're a same-sex couple, that sort of thing, that sort of level of relationship. I don't really talk about that because I'm not really passionate about relationships. I'm passionate about parenthood, and I'm passionate about writing, and I'm passionate about pursuing what you're drawn to do. Maybe you're drawn to be a husband or wife, and that is an amazing passion for you. I just can't relate to it. So I try not to. I keep bringing that into my conversations of failure or resistance or such, and I need to stop, because that's not something that I actually am very drawn to being a part of the conversation of, nor am I skilled in that area. So it's an area that I'm still trying to figure out what's right for me, and I'm not drawn one way or another, compelled or pulled one way or another. So anyway, that's what I wanted to elaborate on my conversation the other day. And one of these days I will get better at not rambling. So are you someone who's really passionate about like relationships? You grew up knowing you wanted to be married, you wanted to have the kids, you wanted to have the white picket fence or whatever it is. I'd love to hear your dream and story on that, because I'm always inspired by people who had that dream growing up and that's what they wanted, and today they have it or they're still pursuing it.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching my video. This is just a quick pause to show you the sponsor of my videos as of lately. It's Naked Nutrition. I am an affiliate with them. I'm going to show you what I've been taking daily to help get things running smoothly in my life while I transition into new diet and lifestyles to help maintain nutrients with food. Since I don't need enough fiber in my diet, I decided to go with organic naked fiber. This is from Naked Nutrition. I'll have the link in the description. Basically, you open it up. You take one full scoop, and 8 ounces of water. You put it right in here. You put the mason jar on top. You cover the mason jar, or you can do whatever mixer thing. You shake it up. And I will say the first time I drank it, it didn't taste so pleasant, but it goes down really quick. You just chug it. And I'll finish it in a second. So we do the naked fiber. I do that about 3 times a day, usually twice, but sometimes a third. And we also like the naked whey in this household so that we can put this into our recipes if we want some extra protein, if I'm, again, not meeting my nutrition needs with my food. Because sometimes times are tough right now. This can help us get through on those days when maybe we're not eating the right foods that we should be eating. And they're a little heavier price tag, but they're worth it because they're as close to natural as I can find in a supplement. So thank you so much for learning more about today's sponsor, and I'll let you get back to the video. Have a beautiful day. And links in bio if you would like to try the fiber to keep things smoothly like me.